Sela, did you die? I wasn't even babysitting you, Sela. How does this happen? How? Take that. Ember. Hurt. Okay. Perfect. Everybody's dead now. Sela about to wake up. Thank you, Sela. Also, we desperately need a healer. God, this is nothing that I need.
What's on your mind?
I would like you to do that for me. I think I might take over manually leveling up Ember at this point to give us the... I mean, in fairness, I don't know if I want Ember or Sela to have the religious checks. Sela makes the most sense with religious checks, but it looks like Ember naturally gets more points into religion. Because I keep saying, like, Ember failed the religious check. So, I'm debating on who. Let's quick save. Okay, this is the corpses were gnawed to the bone by ghouls whose teeth were likely the cause of death. That is... what a way to go. Oh, how'd they die? Well, you know, things happened. This should be this. Wait, no. Abby, this. No, Ember.
I'll hit you.
Please don't kill Ember. Thank you. All right, we'll go this way. There's Curl. This is an interesting storyline. Curl, you want to talk? A short hooded figure is poking about some bodies lying in the middle of the street. The stranger drags the first body off the road, respectfully props it up against a wall, and places the corpse's hands on its chest. The figure then freezes, as if hesitating. You see him reach out his hand towards the beautiful gold amulet hanging around the corpse's neck. He jerks his hand back, hesitates, and then reaches out again. Hey, who are you? What are you doing here? A stranger almost jumps out of his skin. The hood falls from his head. Under a mop of red curls, a round halfling face looks up at you. Oh, I thought you were a demon. Good day to you, good lady. Sela's eyebrows lift in apparent surprise. Curl? Is that you? The halfling looks at Sela and smiles broadly. Oh, Lady Sela, you're alive. Goodness me. That's the second bit of good news on an otherwise lousy day. What was the first bit of good news? Stick around and see for yourself. Do you know them, Sela? Meet Rimby, better known as Curl. He hails from Canabras and he fights in the Condemned. He's one of a kind, a rogue with a heart of gold. Sela smiles, then adds a little more seriously. Curl, it's probably none of my business, but you should ask yourself if what you were about to do is right. So the Condemned is a military unit made up of petty criminals conscripted as disposable soldiers. And the halfling's cheeks flush and he hides his hand behind his back. I just thought, oh, it doesn't matter. Can you tell me anything useful? I'm afraid not, good lady. I just left Defender's Heart. Before that, I holed up in there, too scared to leave. Although spending all that time under Commander Erebeth Snows sure was something. She's strict one, phew, and when she gets antsy. Don't even start. I've had enough of her breathing down my neck to last me a lifetime. Well, Jeff! So what are you doing? You're robbing corpses? No! Rimby Curl may be a rogue, but he does not loot corpses. I just need to get these poor lads' bodies off the road. My friends and I are on a terribly important mission, and we need to get through. This is a terribly important mission. He's interrupted by the sound of wheels rolling on the paving stone. A cart drawn by a sad little horse appears from around the corner. A pretty half-elf is driving it. A young man in knight's armor is walking alongside. Even from a distance, you can see his tanned face and blue eyes shining brightly. The halfling straightens up. See? A terribly important and very heroic mission. My friends and I are saving a beer cart from the demons. As he's speaking, the newcomer notices you, and the knight cries out in jubilation, Sela, I never thought I'd see you again. I thought you were headed to the main square, the center of the demon attack. The half-elf smiles warmly at Sela. Hey, friend! Glad to see you're all right. When we got separated by the crowd at the celebration, I knew right away something was wrong. And when the demon appeared all of a sudden, I realized that was the reason why I've been so anxious. But I couldn't find you among the dead in the square, so I kept my hopes up, and I was proved right. Sela's face lights up with joy. So you're the other bit of good news Curl was talking about. You and Jana are alive. Actually, by good news, I meant that we found the beer cart. Sir Elon and Jana being alive amounts to a quarter of a bit of good news. Well, maybe half. Beer cart? How about sharing with us? We could all do with a drink. Are there more, like, so the funny thing is, for how I almost envision Abby in my head, I wish that there was like a third option, and that she's not necessarily gonna say like there's more important things to do, but I almost kind of envision her being like excited that they found it because she knows that there's definitely gonna be some people that could just use a drink and just something, you know, like just kind of that good news, like something normal, if that makes sense. But she might not necessarily want a drink herself. So I kind of wish that there was like a third option for that where you're not upset by it and you don't necessarily think that there's other things that they could be doing, but you don't necessarily need to partake, if that makes sense. Like you kind of want to keep going on your mission, but you're like, whoa, that's cool. If that makes sense. But we go with the other, I go with the how about sharing with us? I'm sure we could all use a drink, just because I like where that takes the story. The half-elf winks rackishly. Certainly, give me your flask, friend, and if you walk with us to Defender's Heart, we can have a more thorough sampling of the spoils there. Despite the cheerful tone, she looks at you with anxious hope. Jana, there's no need. The heart is very close, and the three of us will be enough to fight off an attack if there's one. Besides, our friend here surely has better things to do. More important things than carrying barrels of beer, I'll wager. By the way, my name's Elon, Sir Elon of the Hound Hearts. I'm glad to meet someone who's survived this madness. You haven't told me how you know Sela. I'll save that story till we're back at Defender's Heart. You're going back there, aren't you? We'll have reason to toast to our spoils. I'm not gonna out curl there. That just seems... I mean... Yeah, but also... you know? I gotta go. So long. We're sure to meet again, either at the city or at Defender's Heart. Sure you will. Come to the tavern. We'll celebrate the valiant rescue of this barrel together. Okay. So then that... I can't tell you, like, the first time I played this game, how... Like, the funny thing is, we yell at Curl for looting a corpse, and I'm over here like, I'll take that stuff. But, what I find to be funny... Wait, what was I gonna say? Now I, like, completely forget because I got so distracted by the fact that we got to loot the corpse that Curl didn't. Anyways, let's go get Daeran, because they were like, you have much more important things to do. And yes, I do. I'm gonna go get Daeran. We'll go get Daeran, and then we're gonna come back to the city, I think. I don't know if I'm gonna go back to the city right away. Well, I think what I'm gonna do is go get Daeran, and then we'll come back. We'll probably, at that point, be able to get... I don't want to get Wallflower just yet. But that's gonna... Oh, no. That's gonna put me right where Wallflower was, isn't it? I think I wanted to deal with Hullerin first. No, we should be okay. We'll see what happens. Let's go to a house party. Look at that. It's a... Oh, his party house, not a house party. It still kind of feels like a house party, though, given Daeran is who he is. Is this who I think it is? Yes, Nenio! Time to get Nenio. We'll see if I can pass the checks this time. I have one character who passed all these checks.
Check. Baphomet symbol around the neck? Check. Crazy eyes? Check. Note to self. Bring a mirror next time to be able to adjust the optimal level of eye craziness. Everything is ready for the experiment. An audience. Problematic, but not critical. You there, girl. Stay out of this. It is counterproductive to stand in the way of scientific progress.
Who are you? What are you doing here? We're not gonna answer. We're just gonna walk away. Come back!
Who's that? I don't know her.
Greetings, boys and girls. I am your sister in sin, a devotee of Lord Baphomet's dark will, and so on and so forth.
Sister in sin.
She looks like one of us, but she talks kinda weird. Who's there with you?
Who? Oh, them. Just an audience. They don't matter. Consider them a supplementary component of the coming experiment.
All right. We're just gonna remain silent because this is too good on its own.
In the name of our Lord Baphomet, please be so kind as to undertake a little test of your competency in our wicked cause. Let's start with something simple. So here's my first question. What is Lord Baphomet's favorite weapon?
We will not answer to you.
Our lord can wield any kind of weapon. He is all-powerful.
Wrong. He wields no weapons at all. He doesn't need any. He just gores his enemies with his horns.
Apparently, I'm not going to pass these checks. We're going to say nothing.
These answers are wrong. The correct answer is Isergall, a glaive made of red adamantine. This experiment has taken quite a surprising turn. I would never have expected the followers of the great Baphomet to be baffled by such a simple question. Fine. Let's recalibrate the difficulty and proceed with the next question. Please name Lord Baphomet's sacred animal.
A bull. Of course, everybody knows that.
Yep, and a cow.
Apparently, I got the religious check. Baphomet's sacred animal is Baphomet himself. All right, we're going to answer it. It's an Aurochs, as a matter of fact.
I'd like to ask you to stop prompting them, but it seems they could do with a prompt or two. It appears the experiment has yielded results which are as unexpected as they are incredible. Baphomet's cultists have not the slightest idea about who Baphomet really is, let alone any in-depth knowledge of his ideology or philosophy. I'm positive that this news will cause a sensation in widest scientific circles.
Damn it, she's right. I'm a shitty excuse for a cultist. And my mother used to tell me to become a plowman.
I think this might be the only situation ever in a video game where I've seen a cultist go, I'm a shitty excuse for a cultist kind of thing.
Hey, take it easy. We've only had 2 questions. You there, come on, ask another one. We'll get the next one.
Yeah, ask them some more. They could still get it right.
Is there any sense in continuing? You cannot answer the simplest of questions. I am ashamed of all of you, as cultists and as individuals.
That's like, the fact that she said I'm ashamed of you all as cultists and individuals, like that's literally almost like grandma level, I'm disappointed in you. Coming at, like straight at them.
Please, ask again. I can answer. I'm sure I can.
How do you spell Baphomet's name?
B-A-F-A... Oh, screw it. To hell with Baphomet. I thought it was gonna be fun, but instead there are all these questions. I'm done here. I'm going back to my home village, back to my mother.
Hey, wait! You there! How dare you stir up discord in our ranks? Grab her and tie her up, and her entire entourage too!
The experiment is complete. Unable to deal with the questions, the cultists decide to deal with the examiner instead. A typical reaction for a person who has never been burdened with any intelligence. Now you're gonna start hitting each other, aren't you? Please, proceed. I won't interrupt.
Thanks, Nenio.
Yet another obstacle.
All right, you heard what Nenio said. Please proceed to beat each other up. You got that. Ember, hit them for me.
You won't stop us.
Well, let's see. They're almost done.
The world in crimson.
Did you miss, Abby? Oh, they make the worst noises when they die. The absence of an answer is an answer too. I like these mysterious people. Like, just more the fact that I don't think I've actually solved that mystery of who they are and stuff, but I just like that they exist.
The result is statistically predictable, especially considering their intelligence level. What about you, girl? Are you ready to answer some questions for the good of science? Let's proceed with the experiment. My first question is simple. Which colors does the goddess Iomade prefer?
Is it red and white? I always get it wrong. Hold on. Can I look, like, do you get the, like, do they also give you the answer if you look it up? Is this even worth looking up? Did I actually open up my phone to take a quick peek at this? Yes. Yes, I in fact did. Iomade. Color reference. Wrath. Okay, I got it. Number 3. I was right. It's red and white.
This answer is correct.
Yay!
It is comforting to meet at least one educated person in the melting pot of ignorance that is Canabras today.
I can't believe I just spent time looking that up.
Let's proceed. Did Aradin take part in any crusade before he died?
You know for sure he died not long before the world wound opened and the first crusade began, so no, he did not.
Your answer is correct.
Yes!
Aradin's death dates to 4606, and that is precisely the year when the world wound was opened. The first crusade started back in 4622.
So that was an immortal Aslanti who raised the star stone from the bottom of the inner sea, and in so doing founded the city of Absalom and ascending to godhood. Prophecy told of his return to glory and the beginning of a new age of glory. On the eve of his return, however, his clerics were cut off from his power and a terrible storm racked the world. Now presumed dead, Aradin's demise ushered in the current age of lost omens.
Your knowledge would make Mendev's crusaders proud. My final question is, what is the title that Arilu Vorlesh bears?
Oh, this one's easy.
Is she the architect of the world wound, the lord of the labyrinth, or the border acquisitor of the shapeless abyss?
Can you imagine if that was actually Aurelius' title? Borderer Acquisitor of the Shapeless, but that would be such a mouthful. Architect of the World Wound.
That's correct. Most excellent. You successfully answered all of my questions. Splendid. Amazing. This is a breakthrough. I thank you for your cooperation.
You're welcome.
It seems to me that I owe you an explanation. My name is Nenio. I am an explorer, a pilgrim, a yet-to-be-recognized scientific luminary, future author of the great encyclopedia Galarianica, and rector of all Absalom's universities at once. Future rector, I should say. I also know several spells.
Can you finally tell me what you were getting at with all these questions?
It is so heartening to see you strive for knowledge. I have been conducting an experiment comparing the intellectual abilities of the average cultist with those of the average crusader. And I must admit that you passed the test with flying colors. This does offer a glimmer of hope for the future of Crusade. I have always claimed that despite the popular beliefs about the limited intellectual abilities of those in the army, at least some of them can be considered educated. It pleases me to see that I was correct.
This is my favorite. So you're trying to say that I'm just mediocre? Is that it, Nenio?
Yes.
The way she's just so matter-of-fact about it. And she's just like, yeah, you're basically mediocre to me. And I'm over here like, we answered every question right. Yeah, and Nenio's like, don't pat yourself on the back. You're basically just middle of the road, Medio. You're nothing special. And it's just hilarious. Canobris isn't safe. Shall we join forces?
Do you wish to become my follower? To accompany me on my expeditions to the World Wound? To assist me in my experiments? To run errands for me? Perhaps even to write down my deepest thoughts for the benefit of future generations? Oh, how splendid! Of course, I agree.
Nenio.
Truth be told, I have no money to pay you. But you will be aiding the progress of science, and that is its own reward.
The funny thing is the way she says aiding the progress of science, and that in itself is his own reward, kind of reminds me of the whole like, oh, you're an artist? Well, make art for me for free and I'll pay you an exposure kind of thing. Then he basically just did that, but the science version of it, which is utterly hilarious. I kind of like just, and I think Abby's the sort of person that is going to be so amused by Nenio right now that she's just going to go with it, in that Nenio is Nenio, and you can tell right from the beginning that no matter what you say, Nenio is still going to live in Nenio's little world. And that's fine because I like who Nenio is. So we're just going to agree, and that's fine, Nenio. All yours. I'm going to follow you, and what is it? I will absolutely run errands and assist in experiments and all that good stuff.
Excellent. You're hired.
Oh, good.
To think that I finally found someone to accompany me. 27 Crusaders before you said no.
Wow.
Not one of them saw the undeniable appeal of my offer.
What? I can't believe 27 Crusaders did not see how good this offer was.
Your first assignment is to take me to a safe place. I have to admit that today's experiment has left me quite tired.
I understand. I do. I'm going to leave you to go back to Defender's Heart, Nenio. Good luck. Stay safe. I'm just going to go giggle the whole way through. Okay. Anything here? I'll take that. We're going to make some money when we get back. I need the exit, which is, there's so far away though. Oh, there's an exit here too. Let's roll. My menagerie of pets has begun. Which is the way all the pets are just kind of following us right now. I'm definitely not doing what we're gonna do on stream though, which is the everybody gets a pet thing, because that's just that's fun on stream. But it's a lot. Like, they are a lot to manage, I am not gonna lie. All right. Time to get potential future love interest number 2. What a splendid occasion count, and this Numerian elixir is quite something. Oh, look, such darling little creatures. And you're dead now. I smell beauty. They're demons, help. Wonderful. Now brace yourselves for the smell of your own blood and a ghastly eyesore. You ghastly eyesore. And there is Aranka.
All your fault.
What's my fault? Woljif, don't die. Woljif, up. Is everybody gonna die? Daeran, can you heal? Daeran? There are naked people running around. Woljif up yet? There we go. Okay. Let's go talk to him.
Greetings,
Hi.
valiant stranger who has just burst into my life. I am the master of this house, Count Daeran Kale, myriad mellifluous monikers Arande. No need to introduce yourself. I find remembering insignificant details, such as the name of passing acquaintances, such a bore.
It can be, can't it?
Wow. Bona fide blue bloods and unparalleled aristocracy. All this makes me itch to do something really crass. Ooh, like blow my nose on the curtains.
If that's the only crass thing that you can think about, Lan.
What are you waiting for, my squamous squire?
Squamous.
The curtains in this room are velvet, but we have some excellent silk ones with gold thread elsewhere in the house. Take your pick. My soft furnishings are yours to do with as you wish. I'm quite sick of the place, truly. I shall either sell it or burn it to the ground and build a new mansion in its place. Now that we've finished with the niceties, tell me this. How did all those thrice-damned demons end up at my soiree?
I certainly didn't invite them. You must have. Listen, Canabras lies in ruins. Jaskari killed Tarendaleb, the Wardstones captured, and you're asking me why Demon's Gate crashed your party. Really? Or do I want number 3? You must have missed must have been some party. Missed the fact that Canabras is being attacked by hordes of demons and Daskari himself. Yeah, let's go with number 3. That's way more Abby.
Oh, come. The party was deathly dull. Rather like one of the prelate's interminable sermons.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I really ought to be grateful to the demons for their intrusion. They certainly added a frisson to the proceedings.
You're welcome.
It seems as though Daskari's occasion was altogether more of a crush than mine. If you will pardon the pun.
I mean, I appreciate a good pun. You don't seem very concerned about... What was I saying? You don't seem very concerned about the city's fate. Is there a reason for that, Count?
I have no friends here whose untimely demise I would care to mourn.
That's sad.
The only alarming thing is how easily all this happened. I don't care for the thought that demons could come calling at my door at any moment. And just think, everyone had so much faith in the Wardstones gifted by Iomede's herald, and in the might of our tamed dragon. As if there had been no Dresden or a dozen other routes where the demons overcame every defense.
The Count falls silent and rubs his brow, looking fatigued. That's something to kind of find interesting, though, because he mentions where the demons overcame every defense. And now he looks fatigued, right? This is what does it? That little sentence that he did? I find that interesting.
The Arendes are one of the most ancient and noble families in Mendiv. They are related by blood to Queen Galfrey herself. The Count is the last remaining member of his dynasty. The rest all perished around 10 years ago. In the tragedy at the family seat, Heaven's Edge, the demons got past the defenses and massacred everyone inside.
I thank you for providing your friend with that helpful summary, my lady. I believe I've seen you before, with that hilarious buffoon Horgus Gwyrm. I sincerely hope you are not engaged in any kind of sordid arrangement with him. The thought of something so splendid in proximity to something so grotesque makes me feel quite ill. You deserve a better fate than that, no doubt.
Your civility knows no bounds, Count. I most assuredly do not have any arrangement with Master Gwyrm.
As Camellia speaks, hints of carefully suppressed irritation slip into her voice. So what should I know about you, Count, apart from the fact that you're highborn and very, very rich?
As a child, I had my very own pony.
You did?
But I always dreamed of having a lamb. I was never allowed one. Sheep were seen as peasant animals, utterly unsuitable for the scion of a noble line. The trauma haunts me to this day.
Oh no.
I think of it every time I have roast lamb for dinner.
I'm sorry that happened to you. Such a sad story.
Ember is too pure. We don't deserve Ember.
I had not even the slightest intention of upsetting such a lovely child.
So I know a lot of people do not like him, right? And I can see why if you kind of look surface level at him, I get it. But when you start to pick apart his personality and things that we'll learn about him down the road and everything like that, hopefully you might see him from a different perspective as you watch this. But the first thing that I noticed about him, the first time I played, was that he's an ass, right? He's been an ass this whole time. But then Ember comes out, literally, Ember set him up with a line that he could have gone and been his own sarcastic, just self to, right? He could have basically torn her apart with a few words. She set him up with that line. You could go so many places with that, but he can't be mean to Ember, which then goes, then who is the Count really? Why, when he basically tore apart Camellia, right, with the whole Horgus Gwyrm thing and everything like that, when he talks about the roast lamb story and everything, you know what I mean? Why can he say all that and have fun with it? But then Ember says something and he's like, nope, I can't upset you. I can't even try.
I'm not lovely. Some people have even called me a scarecrow before.
That's patently absurd. Why, you can't possibly be a scarecrow with a crow following you around.
And there you go. He can't be nice to people because of reasons. But this is the closest thing I think that we've seen almost anybody be nice to Ember with, right? Like, he's not saying that... Like, the way he says, you can't possibly be a scarecrow with a crow following you around. He basically puts that to bed. She's not a scarecrow. He's basically calling all these people out for being wrong, for being idiots, and that Ember should never worry about that because she's not.
I'm sorry if I failed to sate your curiosity. I loathe talking about myself to people I don't know, even more to those I do know.
That's the truth.
The only thing worth knowing, aside from the fact that I am highborn and filthy rich, is that I dislike Puritans and demons in equal measure. Well, perhaps demons a tad more.
Just a tad. But this, he doesn't like talking about himself. You actually, if you kind of scroll through this conversation again, you actually learn that you've learned nothing about Daeran in this whole conversation. You know nothing about him except that he's sarcastic. He doesn't really care about the things in this house. They mean nothing to him. And that he's filthy rich. That's all you know about him. That's it. Why don't you go to Defender's Heart?
I thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome.
But I am not quite as desperate as I may seem.
Fair.
At times, it is better to be surrounded by the repugnant mugs of demons than the sour and dour physiognomies of Iomede's righteous paladins.
What about my physiognomy? Sour enough for his lordship? Don't worry, another few minutes with the dazzling Count here, and it'll sour like week-old milk.
What's this? An attractive paladin with a sense of humor? You're a veritable walking scandal.
Honestly, Sela is for a variety of reasons, which is why I love her.
Either way, my mansion is now safe. I have a pair of half-decent guards. I just need to drag them out of the storeroom and bring them to their senses. I ordered them to drink a love potion, you see? For reasons which seemed extremely witty at the time and in the state of inebriation I then found myself in. They can guard the house while the valorous paladins beat back the demon assault. They will beat them back, yes?
I mean, they're gonna try.
As regards myself, I feel like stretching my legs. I know rudimentary divine spells, I am no friend to demons, and I elevate any society that I deign to grace with my presence. I shall accompany you. Only for a short time, of course.
Of course.
I have no desire to remain at the vanguard for a protracted period. What say you, my ephemeral but highly diverting acquaintance? After all, Lord Descari spoiled my party. I now burn with the desire to spoil his.
I'm obviously gonna say deal, but I love hearing people's thoughts. So thoughts, everybody?
I don't like this guy much at all. Not even because of his personality, but just... I sense something dark about him.
I guess thumping him one next time he comes out with more aristocratic witterings is not allowed? All the more reason to take him with us. If we don't kill him, the demons surely will.
I mean, listen, Lan, you want to thump him with more when he says more of his bullshit lines? Hey, I'm not gonna tell you no. That's between the two of you.
He has all these friends at his party, and he still looks so lonely. We can take him with us. Maybe it will make him feel better?
Ember, why are you just the sweetest thing in the world?
Don't ask me. Having him tag along would be like going for a nighttime stroll through the back alleys with a diamond tiara on your head. Even I don't like that kind of attention.
I mean, Woljif, though, brings up a fantastic point, right? This is who this man is. He attracts attention wherever he goes. He makes a spectacle of himself. So depending on what kind of personality you are would depend on whether or not he's a good idea to bring with you. Are you somebody that wants to stay as undercover as possible and to kind of blend in and not get noticed? In which case, you probably wouldn't take Lan with you. You wouldn't take Daeran with you. You'd probably go with a very, like, oh, and I don't want to say neutral party, but a very, like, undercover almost party, one that would blend in really well to a lot of different situations. So something like Camellia and Sela and maybe Woljif. I mean, Woljif does know how to blend in and stuff like that. Would be a better option than bringing Daeran and Lan along because they're going to draw attention in various ways. But I like that.
The Count's presence can only benefit us. I think we should say yes.
Well, if Camellia thinks we should say yes.
Capital. Good acquaintances that begin and end at just the right moment often leave the most pleasant memories. Wouldn't you say?
Honestly, yes. 100%. Okay. Goodbye, Camellia. It was nice knowing you. Also, while we're here, guess who else is here? Yay, it's Aranka. Thank you, stranger. The woman does not look the least bit scared. Her cheeks are flushed and her blue eyes are glittering. For saving us from the demons and for your timely entrance. I swear, I don't know who has enraged me more today, the demons or the oh-so-affable master of the house. What can you tell me about the master of the house? About the Count? Her voice drops to a whisper. I've wanted to smash a jug over his head about 5 times today. He just brings that feeling out in people. It's one of his many talents. Other than that, well, you probably already heard about the Aranka family. All I can say is that the Count's servants leave this place like rats from a sinking ship. No one ever stays here long, even though he pays them extravagantly. I've heard one servant complain that he always feels uneasy in the Count's home, like someone's watching him. Unseen eye staring at the back of his head, even if his back is to the wall. Even if he turns around. I don't know if I believe all these tales, but I'm just telling you what I heard. Yep, that's the word on the street too. The tiefling hunches his shoulders. This mansion, it's the tastiest morsel in the whole city, but all the thieves are afraid to even step foot in the street. Are you deliberately talking as if I'm not here? Excellent. Like any polite host, I shall return the favor and act as if you're not here either. I'm a friend of Ilk's. He asked me to come find you. The young woman clasped her hands together. He's alive and he's made a brilliant new friend. It's a shame it had to happen now when the city is under siege by demons and those pig-headed inquisitors are pursuing us instead of something more useful. Do you know where the third of your group is? Wallflower? No idea. If he knows about the demon attack, he won't just hide away. He'll go out and try to help people. If he doesn't know, well, you have no chance of finding him. He's pretty skilled mage, but I doubt he'll risk using magic. He'll probably do something the Inquisitors won't expect. Pose as someone, disguise himself. We had a great selection of masquerade costumes at the temple. She becomes lost in thought for a moment. I know. I'll tie my shawl around your arm. Wallflower gave it to me. He'll spot it right away and know you're a friend. If I were you, I'd look for him in Canaveras' Market Square. Why did you decide to break into the Wardstone and cast magic on it? You put your lives at risk. Your information could have been a trap set by demons. But it wasn't a demon trap, Aranka says forcefully. Her voice softens when her expression turns pensive. You know, living next to the Whirlwind and seeing the powerlessness of the Crusaders, it's very hard. We've tried to defeat the demons for 100 years now, and we have nothing to show for it. I think that Queen Galfrey and the other leaders think that we can defeat evil if we line up our soldiers in perfect columns and send them marching off with the stirring battle cry. We just need a few more soldiers, little more discipline. We've been marching for 100 years, and it's always one step forward, 2 steps back. And while the soldiers are marching, people like Halrin are seizing power behind their backs. His fanaticism and cruelty were forged in the same furnace as the Crusaders' righteousness. We will never defeat the demons if we keep trying to march down the same path. We need to change tact, to challenge our principles, trust our hearts and our friends, not moldering doctrines. We need to listen to an entity that is willing to help us. My friends and I listened, and we trusted, and we tried to change something. At least we tried, even though it didn't work. Great idea. Marching in straight lines won't work. Let's go attack the demons in a merry band of hopers and dreamers, brimming with enthusiasm and doing just whatever we feel like. When the demons see us coming, they'll die of hysterics, and our victory will be complete. I get where Lan and his cynicisms and stuff like that come from, but that's almost not fair. While he brings up a good point, at the same time, the marching in straight lines isn't working. And yeah, while this isn't a plan, sometimes doing something is better than nothing. And not for anything though, but at least we know now why the Wardstone's cracked, right? If we didn't have the people of Desna, if we didn't have these people who got these dreams and we didn't get to talk with them right now, we wouldn't necessarily know why everything happened to the Wardstones that it did, why this demon attack worked. But now we actually have information, and that's something that we could theoretically use either against them in the future or use them to protect the other Wardstones. And it's just interesting that so far nobody is seeing the opposite side of that, where, well, it sucks that nobody reacted the right way when we were supposed to, and nobody tried to prevent this that could have prevented it. Like these 3 did, obviously, but not the right people, because they weren't the ones in charge. But now we know what the weakness is. We know why this happened. So maybe now we should be more proactive in preventing something from happening to the other Wardstones. And maybe now we should be a little bit more receptive to listening to those who don't have the exact same ideas as us, because it might come out that we find a new solution, a new way to tackle this problem where, as Aranka put it, it has been 100 years, 100 years of doing the same thing. And if only the soldiers were a little bit more disciplined, or a little bit more this, or a little bit more that, just a few more die in the name of this, maybe then we'll win. And it's just the definition of insanity. The thing is always, it's doing the same thing over and over and over again and hoping for different results. And that's what's happening. That's what Galfrey is leading everybody to, is this just revolving door of the same thing. Naive children, that's what you are, but I admit your words stir something in my soul. I wouldn't put you in charge of a military campaign, but I'd be proud to fight alongside you. And granted, while they have no anything to be put in charge of a military campaign, yeah, they are inspirational, and sometimes having inspiration, having the courage and to do something is what can make or break the difference in the end. Can you get somewhere safe on your own? It looks like the Inquisitors aren't busting down the door just yet, and they're not hiding under the bed, so I think I'm safe for now. I'll be fine on my own. I'll go to our temple. The Inquisitor must have searched there by now, so they won't go back a second time. Wait, how'd you end up here first? Holler and Hounds found me in Wallflower, and they tried to capture us. I distracted them, and then I lost them in the streets before charming my way into this party. Even if the Inquisitors saw where I went, they wouldn't have been allowed past the door. Halloran holds no sway among certain members of the aristocracy, so I picked a good place to lie low. That is, until the demons showed up. Now that's more like it. So I inadvertently have been harboring a traitor one if I can have Inquisition. This day wasn't a waste after all. Ah, Daeran. Good luck. May Desna be with you. Thank you. And what is this? The intricate patterns on the harp depict the stars and moons and butterflies, the hallmarks of the goddess Desna. All right. So let's now quickly loot these guys. And then I think it's time to go get the storyteller.